Legends of the Desert, Sasquatch, and Ghosts of Virginia City. Dramatized. High in the Spring Mountains, just west of Las Vegas, lies Mount Charleston. To most, it's a retreat from the desert heat, a place of cool pine forests, alpine meadows, and star-filled skies. But for those who've listened to the whispers of hikers and locals, it's something more. A wilderness that hides a secret. Some say a Sasquatch has adapted to Nevada's harsh desert climate. They call it the Desert Sasquatch, and in the southern Mojave, its darker cousin, the Yucca Man. And while the mountains hold their mysteries, just a few hours north, another Nevada legend unfolds. In the silver boom town of Virginia City, restless spirits still wander saloons, hotels, and hospitals, locked in the tragedies of the Old West. Tonight, we're going to explore both sides of Nevada's supernatural, the cryptid mysteries of Mount Charleston and the haunted tales of Virginia City. The Desert Sasquatch at the Springs. Imagine hiking through the Spring Mountains on a sweltering summer day. The desert below is 110 degrees, but up here the pines sway in a cooler breeze. You come across a small spring, water trickling from rocks into a shallow pool. And then you hear it, the sound of heavy movement. Folklore tells us that in these exact places, hikers have glimpsed something extraordinary. A massive, upright creature kneeling to drink from the spring. Descriptions are vague, but always unsettling. A figure nearly 8 feet tall, broad-shouldered, its body covered in coarse hair, its head slightly human, but not quite right. It seems to know where the water is, as if it has mapped these lifelines for survival. Some say it looks up from the spring with intelligent eyes, then vanishes into the brush, leaving behind only the silence of the mountains. This tale has been preserved in collections like Benjamin Goulet's Legends of the Desert Sasquatch and repeated by hikers on cryptid forums such as Squatchable.com. No photos, no footprints, just stories, and the uneasy feeling that something out there is living just far enough from human sight. The Spring Mountains Giant, 2022. Fast forward to a modern encounter. In September 2022, a group of hikers were making their way toward a remote viewpoint near Mount Charleston. The air was still. Birds had gone quiet. And then they saw it. A figure. Tall, upright, moving between the trees. At first, they thought it was another hiker, maybe someone in dark clothing. But as it stepped into a patch of sunlight, they realized it wasn't a man at all. They described it as massive, its stride too long, its arms swinging low. And then, without warning, it dropped to all fours. The movement was fluid, unnatural, and terrifying. In an instant, it bolted into the underbrush, covering ground faster than any human could. The hikers stood frozen, hearts pounding. The forest returned to silence, but none of them could shake what they had seen. This account, known as the Spring Mountains Giant, was recorded by Squatchable.com. Skeptics dismiss it as imagination or misidentification. But to the witnesses, it was real. And it wasn't a bear or a mountain lion. It was something else. The Yucca Man connection. The story doesn't end at Mount Charleston. To the south, across the Mojave Desert, another legend has been told for decades. The Yucca Man. Most encounters come from Joshua Tree Country, far from the alpine slopes of Charleston, but the similarities are impossible to ignore. One of the most infamous Yucca Man stories took place in 1971 at the 29 Palms Marine Base. A guard on duty reportedly encountered a massive figure in the dark. The story says it lunged at him, bent his rifle, and knocked him unconscious. When other soldiers found him, he was dazed and shaken, unable to explain what had happened. Descriptions of the Yucca Man are consistent, towering between 7 and 9 feet tall, covered in rough desert-colored hair, with eyes that shine in the dark. Some witnesses say it smells of rotting vegetation, a foul stench that lingers long after it vanishes. If Sasquatch could adapt to dense, rainy forests, believers argue, why not to the desert? Why not to Nevada, where caves and springs offer just enough refuge? And if the Mojave is home to the Yucca Man, then Mount Charleston, with its hidden springs and alpine forests, could be his northern hunting ground. The Lancaster Museum of Art and History even chronicled the Mojave sightings in Haunting the Mojave, the Yucca Man. Whether folklore or fact, the Yucca Man and Desert Sasquatch stand as cousins in the same mysterious family. But the records show nothing. Here's the strange part. Despite all these stories, official databases like Mapsquatch.com list no confirmed Bigfoot sightings specifically tied to Mount Charleston. Nevada has only a handful of total sightings, placing it near the bottom of U.S. states for Sasquatch encounters. And yet, the stories refuse to die. Maybe it's just folklore. Maybe it's the imagination playing tricks in the desert silence. Or maybe, just maybe, these mountains hide a truth we aren't meant to find. The ghosts of Virginia City. Leaving Mount Charleston behind, we travel north to Virginia City, once one of the richest mining towns in America. Built on silver and sweat, it was also a place of tragedy, mining accidents, disease outbreaks, and the violent life of the Wild West. Today, the town is alive with tourists and history lovers, but some say its most loyal residents never left. Virginia City is often called one of the most haunted towns in America, and its stories rival the desert legends in eeriness. The Washoe Club Spirits. The Washoe Club was once the gathering place of the Comstock Lode's wealthiest, the so-called Millionaires Club. But today, it's more famous for its ghosts. Visitors tell of shadowy figures drifting across the old saloon. People feel sudden icy chills in the middle of summer. And in the Millionaire's Room, ghost hunters have captured voices on EVP recorders whispering in the dark. Both Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures filmed episodes here, documenting footsteps in empty rooms and doors that opened by themselves. Many visitors leave convinced the spirits of the Silver Kings are still sipping their whiskey in the afterlife. Rosie of the Silver Queen Hotel. Just down the street lies the Silver Queen Hotel, famous for one restless soul, Rosie. According to legend, Rosie was a prostitute in the 1800s who took her own life in room 11. Guests who stay there often report strange happenings. Footsteps pacing the hall when no one is there, lights flickering on and off, the unmistakable feeling of someone sitting at the edge of the bed. Some even say they wake to the smell of perfume, lingering long after it should have faded. Paranormal tourists specifically request Rosie's room. Many check in, but few sleep soundly. St. Mary's Art Center. On the edge of town stands St. Mary's Art Center, a beautiful brick building that was once a hospital during the mining boom. When outbreaks of smallpox and influenza swept through Virginia City, hundreds of patients died within its walls. Today, it serves as an art center, but visitors often get more than inspiration. They hear the sound of children laughing in empty rooms. Doors creak open when no one is near, and some claim to see pale figures in white standing silently at the end of the corridors. The spirits of patients and nurses seem to linger, forever tied to the suffering that filled the hospital halls. Closing thoughts. Nevada is a land of extremes, scorching deserts, high mountains, and towns built on silver and tragedy. In the Spring Mountains, stories of a desert Sasquatch keep alive the possibility of a hidden creature adapted to survive where none should. And in Virginia City, the restless dead remind us that history never truly stays buried. So, what do you think? Could a Sasquatch survive in Nevada's deserts and mountains? And are the spirits of Virginia City still walking its old wooden sidewalks? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you hiked Mount Charleston or visited Virginia City? Did you feel the silence of the wilderness or the chill of a ghost's presence? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more cryptid encounters and haunted legends. Until next time, keep your eyes on the mountains and your ears open in the ghost towns, because you never know what's watching.